Yo, what is good, traders? Hopefully you're having a great day. This video is going to be all about how you can become a funded trader and how I managed to pass my most recent phase 1 with this simple framework. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll catch you all inside the funded framework breakdown. The issue a lot of people have when approaching trading on funded accounts is they get scared to lose trades. Now this could be coming from having a bad start, or typically they'll be losing, so they'll be trying to catch up, and all of a sudden the odds will go against them and they end up failing challenges. Now this can be a big thing in trading, and I think the psychological aspect of trading is the number one factor why people actually don't tend to make it. Now a great way to actually set aside this issue is by playing a percentage game over the numbers game. We are playing a game of probability, so when actually coming to a trade, thinking of the process as a percentage and actually removing the money concepts and stuff like that would actually ease your nerves. We typically can apply this method in two ways. We can actually look at the win rate and use our win rate alongside of using an applied set risk to actually help us kind of manage and actually work out what we are actually doing inside our trading in order for us to actually pass the challenge. So a great way what I typically do is I like to look at minimum 2R risk to reward trades. So for me, that's just what I like to do as a benchmark. I know some people like taking 1-to-1s. I put it on there for the sake of the video. However, personally, I say always aim for a 2 risk to reward trade. Now, in this example, if we are using a 2 risk to reward trade, we only have to be profitable 40% of the time. Now, if we are taking 10 trades, we only actually have to win 4 of those trades, and the other 6 can be losses in order to become a profitable trader. Now, if you actually think of it like that, it isn't that much, and if you actually trust and are comfortable within your strategy, it should be a very easy goal to hit. Now, if we actually go to my trades for the end of the year, I typically close out quarter to quarter. So for this quarter, since when did I start this journal? So I started this journal around July. So over a month data, I would say I'm winning around 60%, and my average risk reward is around about 3.6. Now that is why it is very, very important to actually journal your trades, because by me going over my data, I can see even with my losses, I'm winning around 60% of the time and have an average of that 3.6 RR. So with that, I need to win around about 33% roughly. I'm not the best at math, for me to be profitable in this particular sample size. So by going over that data, it kind of helps me like succeed, because I can actually see what I kind of need in order to become a profitable trader, which can actually be really, really helpful. I actually made a previous video also which kind of goes into detail about journaling and the 3 main aspects which a lot of traders actually tend to look over. So if you're actually interested, I will link it above and you can actually go ahead and watch that video. Now for the second and the most important part of the video, it is the framework, and it is the actual thing that I use to pass my most recent challenge. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So I typically use this particular framework, and I think it is a very powerful framework and it's very, very easy to implement into your trading. So typically I start off with risking 0.5% on a single trade up until around 2%. Now typically having a 2% buffer and a little wiggle room when you're trading is very, very important. It helps you become a lot more comfortable and it helps you to ease into the challenge a lot easier. So when you actually hit 2% buffer, that's when you can actually start risking 1% of your account. Now I think it's very good to do it this way, since by having like 1% risk now and actually knowing that by taking this trade you're not going to be losing any profit, I would say it's a win-win. Now if you lose 1%, you can actually risk 0.5%, so you're back to 2% or just over 2%. This is if you want to be a bit more passive. If you don't, you can actually risk the 1% again, but if you lose that 1%, you go back to step 1 and repeat the process till you get another 2% buffer. Now the idea is you always want to be playing with a 2% buffer, so you want this wiggle room to actually continue to trade. Now when you actually get 3.5 to 4%, you can actually start risking 1.5%. Now, if you lose this first 1.5%, you want to go back to step 2 and you actually want to start risking 1% again. Now, when you're actually at 5 to 6% and coming into the last week, you want to risk 0.7 to 0.5% to stay above the 5% to actually get the extension. And this is the whole idea. Now, especially if there's a lack of setups, you also want to bear this in mind. However, this is more the passive approach. Now, the next approach you can do if you're at the 5% plus is you can actually start risking 2 to 3%. And by doing that, you're either going to pass the challenge or you're going to be back to very little profit, enough to get a retry. The alternative step is the riskiest step, but say you're between 1 to 4% profit, you want to make sure that you're going to be in profit regardless, so you get a retry, and you don't want to be going below the starting balance. But if you're between 1 to 4% and coming into the last week, you want to just go full send mode. You want to just risk 90% of the account balance and try and get a trade to pretty much hit you over 5% profit. But if you do that and you manage to secure the bag, you're going to get the extension, and then that way you can possibly make sure to pass the challenge phase 1. This is what I kind of did. I did a full YOLO, but I got to around about 5%. I'm going to put a little picture up after this. But yeah, that's how I managed to pass my phase 1. And I think it's a very easy framework to follow. It's a very kind of powerful one if used correctly. And hopefully this can actually help you pass a challenge or two. But hope you liked the video. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe. And I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.